All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I have a very interesting video for you today, and this one is a conversation that I started last night on Hypnocast when we were streaming the election results and whatnot, and I gotta be honest with you, it's something that I genuinely think is gonna happen, which I find interesting because in this article, apparently Grums is saying the same exact thing that I have been saying on Hypnocast. I don't know if he was watching or anything, but we have the same exact sentiment, which is why I'm gonna use this article to talk about what I really want to talk about. But we have a headline here from That Park Place that reads, former World of Warcraft team lead predicts AAA video game studios will double down to get an even stronger protest message out there after Donald Trump's victory over the United States of America.
And if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. Problem solved.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, what I was saying last night on Hypnocast was that I genuinely believe that even though, Donald Trump won the presidency and whatnot, and that is epic and that's amazing, I genuinely believe that we have not even seen the worst of the worst in terms of gaming yet. I really do. And the reason why is because they use these games as trauma dumps. They use these games to try to push their message of insanity onto regular people. And this is part of the reason why Donald Trump won, to be honest with you, because they don't know how to be subtle. They don't know how to just tell a story that may have a progressive theme here and there. They don't know how to do it anymore. They're way too heavy-handed, and they're just going to get even more heavy-handed because at the end of the day, they don't want to admit their loss, and the only way they're going to be able to cope with their loss is by trauma dumping on people in these video games. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says Mark Kern, aka Grums, the former team lead of World of Warcraft, predicted that AAA video game studios will double down to get an even stronger protest message out there after Donald Trump won the election for the president of the United States. In a post to X, Grums shared his prediction. I think AAA devs will try to double down and get an even stronger protest message out there. He added this will tank their games even harder, and investors will eventually punish them in the stock market until profit reigns over insanity. 2 years to stop the spread. Don't forget to identify as non-binary. Now, the whole non-binary thing is hilarious, by the way. What I will say is that, on Hypnocast, what I said is flat out that they're going to use this as a means to trauma dump even harder. Like, look at Dragon Age the Veilguard, for example, okay? We've been talking about Dragon Age the Veilguard to nausea, and I get it, and trust me, we're going to be moving on as the news cycle starts to, continue. But overall, Dragon Age the Veilguard is a perfect example of what it means to have these writers that are hardcore lefties just trauma dump their entire life on you, right? That's what they're doing. If you watch Dragon Age the Veilguard, or if you play Dragon Age the Veilguard like I unfortunately have, you'll realize very quickly that these writers are trying to explain their most terrifying moments in life to you through these characters, which is why a character like Tosh exists, where you're having a conversation in a cutscene and out of nowhere she just wants to trauma dump on you how she's non-binary when nobody fucking asked her, right? Nobody asked her to explain that. Nobody asked her to say anything like that. We're talking about something serious. We're talking about archdemons. We're talking about elven gods, and then out of nowhere she's like, well, I'm non-binary. What the fuck? Who cares? So you're going to see a lot more of that. You're also going to see probably a lot more virtue signaling happening in video games because, let's be real, they just haven't lost enough money yet. That's just the truth of it. They haven't lost enough money, and they're still subsidized. They're still funded by a multitude of different avenues, and they need to lose more and more and more money. But this is how they're going to cope. This is how they're going to see. This is how they're going to sit there and deal with Donald Trump being their president, by trying to take every opportunity they can to not only ruin what you like, but also just ruin his image as a whole. Kern's prediction comes just days after former Sweet Baby Inc. employee made it clear that the company would be doubling down on its efforts to inject woke ideology into the video game industry. Now, I made a video on Grant Roberts' secondary statements over at The Gamer, so you guys can go check out that video. But yes, it's very obvious that they have a plan that they're going to move forward with, and that plan is ESG, DEI, all that stuff will not die. For anybody who thinks that DEI is now going to just die off because Donald Trump became president, I want to make it very clear that is not the case at all. If it was that easy, I wish it was that easy, but it's not that easy. Let's be real. The ESG and DEI is not just going to magically die off, but you're going to start seeing a very slight change in the overall political landscape, especially when it comes to gaming. Unfortunately, as much as I try to avoid politics and just talk about the video games and what's wrong with them, unfortunately, it does trickle down. Politics do trickle down into the gaming industry, and that's why we have so many issues today, because the people who are making these games and the writers who are writing the stories, they are so politically driven that it just completely melt into whatever they make. And it makes it so unbearable to play through it as a gamer. But again, they have made it very clear that we're not their target audience. Even though we're the ones that spend money, we're not their target audience. You know who their target audience is? Investors, shills, people who don't actually buy the game, people who beg for review codes on Twitter, people who actually don't buy any of the consoles that they play on. They just hope to get it for free if they say nice things, enough. This is the kind of people who their audience is. They think that that's the people who should be getting everything from them. It's absolutely insane. And then the ones who do support them, the ones who do actually put out money for their products, yeah, they don't care about you. They don't care about any of you. It also comes just days after Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed boss Mark Alexis Cote seemingly admitting that the company's DEI policies are hurting how the company's games are perceived, but he and Ubisoft will be moving forward with them anyway. As reported by Eurogamer, Cote made an appearance at the BAFTA event where he shared that discussions of Ubisoft's DEI policies can influence how our gamers are perceived, but rather than shy away from those conversations, we should see them as an opportunity. Later in his presentation, he made it clear that the company would continue to embrace these policies and the agenda. At the end of the day, Assassin's Creed is not just a franchise, it's a platform for entertainment, dialogue, discovery, and understanding. Our commitment isn't just about reflecting on the past, it's about ensuring that the stories we tell continue to unite, inspire, and challenge players, regardless of their background, and we'll continue to stand by these values because they are central to the heart of the franchise, and I believe to the future of storytelling itself. Now, this was a huge admission, and I actually did a video talking about Booty Adams, where Booty Adams was essentially reacting to the same exact thing and how he was upset that the Ubisoft, developer over here was admitting that this is actually affecting their business. He didn't want people to admit that. He wanted people to make the gamers feel like what they're doing doesn't matter. He wants people to make it feel like the gamers don't mean a single thing and that they're not affecting anything at all. He wants them to essentially lie to gamers about what's actually happening. And that's not fucking cool, because ultimately this is the problem. We call you guys shills because you don't want to tell the truth. You don't want to actually tell anybody what's really happening. You don't want to be transparent. All you want to do is fake this fake ass positivity so that you can get a free game, free PS5, free whatever, and you continue to do that. That's your grift. That's okay. If you want to con your audience into doing that, that's perfectly fine. But transparency is going to come out at some point in time. It's only a matter of time. You can't sit there and lie forever as much as you want to. That's not going to happen. So this is the issue that's happening in the gaming industry, where people have discovered a bunch of things, and as more people dive deep and do their rabbit holes and everything like that, you got Savvy out here making schizo boards and whatnot. Once you got people doing that, it's pretty much game over for you in terms of trying to hide anything. You're not going to be able to hide anything. People are going to be monitoring you with a fine-tooth comb. So as much as you try to run away, as much as you try to stay quiet, as much as you try to hide, that's really not going to happen. You're not going to be able to get away with it in the slightest, and you might as well just start being transparent with your customers and the gamers who actually buy your product. Stop being fucking idiots for these shills out here that don't buy your product. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, when it comes to what Grums is saying, I agree 100%. This is going to be an issue moving forward, and this is why channels like this will continue to exist. Multiple channels out there. It's not just me, obviously. I'll never be narcissistic and think that. There is hundreds of channels out there that are all doing the same exact thing, and we need more. We need more. It doesn't matter if we're all doing the same exact thing. We need more, because at the end of the day, there is a ton of people out there that do not know about what's going on. And every single channel has the opportunity to reach another person and give them that voice to listen to. And that's what we need to do and continue to do as we go into the next 4 years of absolute hell, because that's what these people are going to do in the gaming industry. They're going to try to make it as miserable as possible, because deep down, they're going to be as miserable as possible. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it if you could like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.